Johnny stands alone, center stage, wearing a headset.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the grand opening of Monroe James Alehouse for Criminals and Thugs, the man himself, Monroe James.
Johnny hurries back behind the camera. We see the camera shake a little.
Okay, now.
Monroe James walks into the bar like a late-night talk show host. The audience applauds.
Welcome, everyone. It's a really exciting time at the bar today. We're opening our doors to the public, and we're raising money for the cure. So, officially, welcome to Monroe James Alehouse for Criminals and Thugs.
Vinnie, Roman, and Tony enter the bar. Tony has a construction jacket and hard hat over his mobster suit. Tony hangs a sign on the wall reading, Monroe James Alehouse for Criminals and Thugs, presented by the ShoW. Roman goes behind the bar. Vinnie sits on the couch with a landline phone.
We've got a great show for you guys today. I've hired some of the best local entertainment to put on a variety show for you all and help us fundraise for the cure.
Johnny speaks his lines while operating the camera. For the whole shoot.
What cure are we raising money for again, boss? Is this the thing with the money in the laundromat?
Shut up, Johnny. Vinnie, hit him for me.
Sure, boss.
Vinnie walks behind the camera. After a beat, the camera shakes slightly.
Ow!
Vinnie walks back on stage and sits on his couch.
Anyway, don't mind the construction in the back. We're just finishing some things up that was supposed to be finished before the shoot.
Well, hey, I didn't expect the vault to have 6-foot thick walls. You know, if we just use magic as I suggested.
What did I tell you about talking about stealing from the bank, Tony?
Hey, I didn't say anything about the bank heist next door. You just did, though.
Monroe James glares at Tony.
I'll go get back to work.
Tony scurries out the bar towards the basement.
Anyway, if you'd like to help us raise money for the cure, Vinnie will be manning the phones all hour.
And I'll be serving drinks, and not speaking in ridiculous accents, because I'm not good at them and they annoy Mr. James.
Exactly.
Hey, boss, what happened to that Artie guy? I half expected to see him here.
Well, we got the bar, so I didn't need him anymore. Sent the drunk to rehab. You know, addiction is a disease.
Wow, you're a pretty good guy, Mr. James.
Don't you ever accuse me of that again. And do we have a special treat for you all today? My son, Madison James.
Madison walks out in a clown costume.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, doesn't he look great, folks? He's got this clown routine.
I haven't done it since I was 6.
And he's going to be the big grand finale of our show. Isn't that great? But before we get to that, it's time for our first act. Everyone, please welcome the Johnny.
The camera swivels to Johnny, who is standing, working a camera.
Hi, welcome to my special segment of the show, Ask Johnny. This is our first question. Dear Johnny, I want to ask a girl out at school, but I'm really nervous. My friends all say it will be a piece of cake, but I don't know what to do. Oh, cake. I remember cake. My grandmother loves cake. She makes the best apple right-side-up cake. And you know, she always used to tell me, if you don't eat your cake, you'll never grow up big and perpetually incarcerated like your father. I remember being a little kid in the kitchen all day. I would sit there and ask her when the cake was going to be done, and she kept telling me later, and I'd ask again and she'd say later, and I'd ask again and she'd say later, and I'd ask again, and then she'd hit me over the head with a rolling pin, and maybe that's why I'm so attached to people who hit me now. You know, like Vinnie and... never mind. You know, I sure do miss spending time with her. I should call her sometime. Maybe she'll finally give me the recipe for that cake. I've just been guessing when I make it. First I take out a big mixing bowl and then I put in 3 roses. My grandmother always said it takes a lot of flour. And I also pour a glass of cola in because, I don't know, I just like cola and baking soda is usually an ingredient in things. Then I throw some apples in there because I feel like there should be some of those. And anyways, I hope that answers your question. See you next time.
The camera returns to the stage to reveal the game show is set up. Rebecca is on stage, sitting across from Vinnie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the word game for Criminals and Thugs. As always, I am your host, Rebecca Sharpe, and our criminal and or thug this week is...
Hi, I'm Vinnie, criminal.
Well, Vinnie, We have a wonderful prize for you this week, and if you can correctly guess our word of the week, you'll win one free takeout container from the MSU Dining Hall. Dining Hall entry fee is not included. All right, cover your ears now, Vinnie.
Vinnie covers his ears and closes his eyes.
Our word today is friend. Friend.
Rebecca hits Vinnie on the arm. He takes his hands off his ears and opens his eyes.
Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is someone who you see a lot.
Johnny.
You're on the right track. So what is Johnny to you?
Hey, who's asking? I don't know nobody or nothing. You're not getting anything out of me.
Vinnie, the game.
Oh, yeah, right.
So what is Johnny to you?
An annoyance.
I meant more like your relationship.
Johnny and I are not dating.
Okay, good. So who is someone who you're not dating but you see a lot?
Johnny?
Rebecca checks watch.
Come on, we're running out of time here.
What do you want from me?
Describe Johnny. This should be so easy.
He's annoying, he's kind of short, he's my partner, he loves those Pixar movies, he keeps going on about that Toy Story the other day, and that song, he keeps singing it, you know, you've got a friend in me.
Rebecca gets excited. Ring a bell if we can afford one.
Hey, I found a bag.
That's it! Finally!
Vinnie looks surprised. Suddenly, the cameras begin shaking to simulate an earthquake. Rebecca and Vinnie grab the game show stuff and run for cover. The cameras stop shaking. Monroe James walks on stage, angrily.
What was that? An earthquake in Michigan? What the hell?
Roman walks on stage.
Boss, we got a bit of a problem.
Can't you take care of these things on your own, Roman? What do I pay you for?
You don't pay me, boss.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, are you gonna help, or?
Alright, what's the problem?
Well, I think the vault wall may be what we call load-bearing.
What makes you think that?
Well, we just drilled a big hole in it, and the building started shaking.
You got into the vault! Perfect! You know, this is why I'm always saying good things happen to good people. Who would have thought when you buy a bar to spend time with your son, you get a super easy and conveniently placed bank robbery to go along with it?
The cameras all shake again. Monroe and Roman act like they're in an earthquake.
But you see, boss, now the whole building is shaking. It could collapse if we don't fix it.
Yeah, I noticed.
The cameras stop shaking. Tony enters stage.
Hey, boss, if you just let me use magic to rob the bank, none of this would have happened.
What are you talking? Also, I don't think we've met. Who are you?
I'm the terrific Tony. I may be in the mob, but I also do bar mitzvahs, quinceaneras, and birthday parties.
Aren't those all just different kinds of birthday parties?
They actually have very important cultural significance.
The camera begins shaking again. Monroe, Roman, and Tony all begin shaking.
It doesn't matter. Tony, come with me. We gotta get that money and fill the hole in quick. Roman, entertain the crowd for us.
Tony and Monroe exit, leaving Roman alone on stage to do his stand-up.
Ooh, great. Let's start with, what everyone likes to do, complaining. I like doing that. My mom always used to yell at me for not scrubbing the dishes before putting them in the dishwasher, which confused the hell out of 10-year and present-day me, because she would say, wash those dishes before putting them in the dishwasher. Isn't that redundant? Its name is dishwasher. Why would I wash the dishes if the dishwasher can do that same thing? Why would I put them in the dishwasher to be washed again? I just washed them. That's 2 washes. How washed do you want these plates to be, Ma? I want to see my reflection in these plates, not my fortune. Same thing with the cleaning ladies. My mom would wake me up at the ass crack of dawn screaming, I want this entire house cleaned before the cleaning ladies get here. What's the point of the cleaning ladies, Ma? You want me to throw on an apron and get underpaid? I'll do it. The house would be spotless by the time the cleaning ladies got there, and they just do a tiny little bit of dusting and call it good. They just leave. It was ridiculous. Meanwhile, I look like I just came out of the sewers on Taco Tuesday, and I don't get a cent to my name. Alright, well, now that the complaining's over, how about a little bit about me? I come from a very Catholic household, which means that I place my judgment on all of you, silently, and I go to Mass for 45 minutes on Sundays, for the sole purpose of placing my judgment on you. By the way, why are Catholic funerals so long? For those of you who haven't been to one, Catholic funerals are like 5 hours long. And to retread old territory, I mentioned that Catholic masses are 45 minutes. So what that tells me is that if you haven't met God yet, the priest is trying to get you out of Dodge. But if you're about to meet him, Well, you can take as long as you want. Anyway, I come from a very Italian family, so it means we got noise complaints from counties across state borders on a regular basis. Also, we use enough hair gel to put super clips back in business. You're welcome. It's lovely, but there's one problem. I don't like marinara sauce, which is basically a cardinal sin to an Italian, because they, more than any other group of people on this planet, take their cooking to heart. Ever tell an Italian you don't like Italian food? Exactly, because if you did, you'd be dead.
Roman walks off stage. The camera swivels to Johnny, who is standing working a camera.
Welcome back to Problems with Johnny, America's third best video advice column from a mobster. Dear Johnny, I've tried to grow plants in my apartment for several years and always failed. Is it okay to switch to fake plants since I don't have a green thumb? It would be really cool to have a green thumb. There's lots of cool people with green skin. Lots of terrible people with green skin too, but I discriminate against all people equally. To be honest, I don't even see color. Probably one too many closed head injuries. Do you want to hear me list green people? The Hulk, Shrek, Kermit, Cookie Monster, the Grinch, Plankton, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now there's 4 of them, which is Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and what's the one, oh yeah, the Michelangelo guy. I like him. He likes pizza. That's pretty funny.
Vinnie is alone on stage, sitting on the couch with his landline phone. He picks it up.
Hello. Oh, you'd like to donate to the cure. It's great. But I like your credit card now. I know you're good for it.
Vinnie hangs up the phone. Monroe James walks on stage out of breath.
Sorry, everyone. We just had some urgent construction to deal with downstairs. But I trust everything's been fine up here.
Boo! This is worse than the Music Man!
Shut up! Anyway, we have plenty more in store for you. And don't forget about the grand finale. Get out here, son.
Madison James crosses stage in his clown suit, then crosses again to exit.
Attaboy. Ain't he the best?
His clown makeup is subpar at best!
Monroe James takes out his gun and shoots the heckler.
All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. How's fundraising going, Vinnie?
Well, we've made no money.
No money. That's what... What do you mean, no money? What have you been doing on the phones?
Oh, I've just been pretending. Isn't this whole thing just a money laundering scheme?
Well, yeah, but swindling suckers out of more money wouldn't hurt, now would it?
Boss, I don't know what you expect me to do.
I expect that the next time someone calls that phone, you pick up and you take their information.
But, boss...
None of this but boss crap. You tell them they're giving you money for the cure. You write down their credit card number, maybe their social security while you're at it.
Okay, boss.
Vinnie,
what?
it's so simple. You're supposed to be the smart one. I'd expect this from Johnny, but not from you.
What am I supposed to do with a landline phone that isn't plugged into anything?
Monroe James walks off stage in a puff of anger. Madison James enters.
Hey, Madison.
How do you know my name?
Oh, your old man is always going on about you. He's got the greatest kid in the whole wide world. All that crap. I try to tune him out, but some gets through, you know.
He talks about me?
Roman enters and begins cleaning up behind the bar.
We really can't stop him. Oh, and when you first got into MSU, we had to uproot the whole operation just to keep an eye on you.
Wow, I never felt like he cared. He just always seemed so preoccupied. How come we've never met before?
Boss's orders. Something about us corrupting you. You got a bright future in politics or something?
Then why did he fill my favorite bar with all of you? And how about the name?
Madison gestures to the sign reading, Monroe James's Alehouse for criminals and thugs.
He's always got something new, some plan, scheme, or angle.
Tony enters with a big bag of money.
Hey, where do you guys want me to put this?
Vinnie begins ushering Madison off stage.
You gotta go get warmed up. Nothing to see here. Ill time.
I don't have any more stand-up. Tony, you have anything?
I can do some magic.
Tony pulls a staff out of the money bag.
Oh, God, never mind. Johnny, got anything?
Tony exits defeated.
I've got another advice column.
Yes, that's perfect.
The camera swivels to Johnny, who is standing working a camera.
Welcome back to the finale of Things You Want to Know About Me from You, with Johnny. Here's what you wanted to tell me about what you know I'm doing what you're doing. I recently found out one of my coworkers has been stealing money from the company. How do I spill the beans to my boss? You know, I've been wondering the same thing.
Vinnie suddenly appears and hits Johnny in the head.
Ow! Anyways, I've been wondering about where all these different types of beans came from and who came with all the different names. Like pinto bean, it's a fine bean, I guess, but pinto is such a funny word. Pinto, pinto, pinto. And now it's completely lost all meaning. You know, they say beans are the magical fruit, but the only fruit I've eaten with magical properties was mushrooms. And it's not like I ate those on purpose, but all my friends at school used to play this fun game called Make Johnny Eat Things, where they would make me, I'm the Johnny, eat things. And I would do it because, you know, they were my friends, and I could tell they loved me by how often they wrote nice messages on my house, like, Meatball Subboy and Your Dad is in jail, LOL. Sorry, I'm getting off track. This is about beans, not Johnny. But where was all that when they looked at black beans? They just looked at what color the beans were, and they went with that. Red beans, too. But pinto beans, they had to think of pinto. Pinto. They couldn't have called them Biage, Borg, light brown beans? Maybe it's best they just went with pinto. Pinto.
The camera returns to the stage where Roman is wiping down the bar. Vinnie comes up from the basement.
Hey, Roman, have Big Dog get us that cart of tools from the back room now, would you?
Right away. Hey, Big Dog, get the tool cart. She's on it.
Vinnie leaves.
We just got security cameras installed in the back room. Let's see what she's up to.
Fade out and up on Big Dog's segment. Interior backroom day. Big Dog is standing next to the cart. She's wearing a pork pie hat and a boutonniere. On the top shelf of her cart is a rubber chicken, a flower in a vase, a pork pie hat, and a boutonniere, and a pile of napkins. On the bottom shelf is a bowling ball and a bottle of hand lotion. She puts on the pork pie hat and boutonniere. Now that's a bit redundant, isn't it? She picks up the chicken and shows it to the audience. With one hand behind it, she puts it down. She bends down to get the lotion, pumping it onto her hand. When she stands up again, her hat gets caught on the shelf and falls off. She doesn't notice and rubs the lotion on her hands and arms, pushing up her sleeves. She goes to adjust her hat and realizes it isn't there. She grasps around for the brim of her hat for a moment, making an exaggerated face. She looks back and forth and then shrugs. She picks up the chicken again and squeezes it. The noise startles her. Another exaggerated facial expression. She drops the chicken and hits her forehead with her palm. She bends down to get it off the floor and sees her hat. It has come to rest on the bowling ball. She grabs it by the brim, but it doesn't move. She makes a few more exaggerated pulling motions before it finally comes off the ball and she puts it on. The bowling ball begins to roll from the force of the pull. She doesn't notice. Her foot is right by the edge of the cart. She picks up the flower vase as the bowling ball slowly rolls towards her feet. She showcases the vase, holding it carefully. It slips through her grasp several times, per the lotion. She seems to lose her grip, but she recovers with an exaggerated smirk. The bowling ball falls on her foot. She lets out a Tom and Jerry-esque scream, contrasting the complete silence during the rest of the act. She flings the vase in the air and hops on one foot, grabbing the foot that got hit by the bowling ball. She hops onto the rubber chicken, which makes a noise, startling her. She stands on 2 feet again, adjusts her hat, and rubs her face. She picks up the bowling ball and rolls it off stage. The sounds of pins falling down is heard. She does a little cheer, picks up the napkins, and begins wiping the lotion off her hands and face. The vase from before finally falls back down. She catches it perfectly in her arms. She wipes her forehead and places it back on the cart. She shoves the napkins into the vase and picks up the chicken and puts it back on the cart as well. A knock on the door is heard. She opens it, pie in the face. Fade back to bar. Monroe, James, Roman, and Vinnie walk into the bar holding big sacks of money. Roman and Vinnie set their bags down at Monroe's feet and go to their usual spots, behind the bar and on the couch.
Wow. I can't believe how much money we raised for the cure. Totally legitimately, by the way.
Except it's for the cure for chickenpox.
And since doctors figured that out ages ago, I think we just get to keep the money.
I'm not sure that's how charities work, boss.
Charities work how I say they work. Now let's celebrate, boys.
Vinnie starts doing a drum roll on the table. Monroe motions for Roman to join in the drum roll. Roman reluctantly begins drum rolling.
Now, for the main event. The moment you've all been waiting for. Madison James!
Monroe James begins applauding. Madison James enters.
Dad, stop this.
Monroe James is still clapping.
Dad, stop it. I'm done with pretending with this whole thing.
Madison throws his clown hat to the ground.
It was one thing that you wanted me to my stupid clown routine from when I was 6 just to promote your new bar, which you stole from my friends and me. I would still embarrass myself in public for you. But using me in a bank robbery? I'm out.
Madison, what are you talking about?
You buy the bar right next to the bank so you can break in, you launder money through this fake charity thing, and then you leave for your next scheme. That all would have been fine, but you didn't have to drag me and my friends into it. I'm out of here.
Madison begins to leave.
Madison, I bought this bar because I wanted to spend more time with you. I knew you were always here, and I just wanted to connect with you or on something. You've got your mother's brain. I envy that. And it's one of the reasons it can be so hard to spend time with you. But Madison, I'm trying.
Like Vinnie said, you always have your angle. Good luck, Dad.
Madison James picks up his clown hat and exits the bar.
Vinnie, what the hell did you say to him?
I just told him you cared about him is all.
That'll do it.
Monroe James watches Madison go, then remembers that he's on video and quickly recomposes himself.
Now, what are we going to do for our final act? We still have 5 minutes of airtime to fill. Roman?
I'm sorry, sir. I already told all my jokes. I could say them again.
No, that won't work. Johnny?
Nobody else needs any advice.
Vinnie?
Equity wouldn't appreciate me performing in a non-union show.
Is there anyone left who has an act?
Tony enters.
Did someone call for the terrific Tony?
No!
Boss, he's all we've got left.
Fine, but this better be good.
Fabulous. I'll just need an assistant.
Vinnie and Roman exit as quickly as possible, leaving Monroe on stage with Tony.
Perfect.
Tony brings out a deck of cards.
Pick a card, boss. Any card.
Monroe James picks a card.
Okay, now shows the camera.
Monroe James shows the card to the camera.
Now, put it back in the deck.
Monroe James puts his card back. Tony pulls Monroe James's card from the deck and shows the card to the camera. It's the same.
Is this your card?
You got anything more flashy?
I've got an escape trick.
Oh, that actually does sound exciting. Let's do it.
Roman! Vinnie!
Roman enters carrying a large opaque sheet. Vinnie enters with a chair.
Okay, now sit down, boss.
Monroe James sits down in the chair and is immediately shrouded by Vinnie and Roman holding up the sheet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to attempt a trick that Harry Houdini himself thought was too dangerous. I mean, probably he thought that because actually he never did it. But, using magic, we are going to break Mr. James here out of these handcuffs.
Tony goes behind the curtain and handcuffs Monroe James.
Now, I clap 3 times. And the handcuffs are gone. Boys?
Roman and Vinnie lower the curtain.
The handcuffs are still on, Tony.
Tony ushers Roman and Vinnie to bring the curtain back up.
Let me try that again, please.
Tony goes behind the curtain.
And I clap 3 times.
Roman and Vinnie lower the curtain. Monroe James is now wearing several pairs of handcuffs.
Tony.
Okay, hey, look, one more time, I promise.
It better be.
Roman and Vinnie bring the curtain back up. Tony goes behind the curtain again. Tony comes out and claps 3 times. Roman and Vinnie lower the curtain. Monroe James is absolutely covered in handcuffs. Tony gets flustered and leaves Monroe James bound to the chair.
If I could get over there, I'd ring your little... Thank you all for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. We raised a lot of money for the cure, and we had a great time doing it. Thanks for coming to the grand opening of Monroe James Alehouse for criminals and thugs. See you all soon.